This game is heating up, folks. Frank squares up like a butcher block on defense. Audie with the fadeaway. She's on fire. Literally, that is. The net has been burned to a crisp.
Oh, yes.
Mom, Dad's being weird again.
Luscious.
Honey,
So full.
it's just grass.
Oh, it's so much more than just grass. It's a healthier, greener, and more luscious lawn. Yours can be too.
Look at you.
With 𝗙𝗃𝗏𝗏𝗏 Lawn Care.
Remember, no shoes on the lawn. Because you're so beautiful.
Call or click.
Shine Down. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Des Moines. Wells Fargo Arena, Friday, April 25th. With special guests, Beartooth and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at HiVTix.com. It's about to get heavy. Shine Down, live in concert. For more, visit Shinedown.
Two guys, two Chris's, one network. Iowa everywhere. It's time for Two Guys with Chris Williams and Chris Hassel. Presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery from the Channel Seed Studios. Where? Everywhere. Live and always on demand at Iowa Everywhere.
What is up? Happy Monday. It is the 21st of April. You got Chris and Chris here on Iowa Everywhere. Big day. Big day today. We've got Overthinking. Mackenzie, Scott, and Cade are going to tickle your brains at noon. And then Murph and Andy, the icons, coming up today at 1 here on Iowa Everywhere. We are looking forward to bringing you today's show. We are presented, as always, by our friends at Fareway Meat and Grocery. I've never, this is a great feeling. I never had more compliments to the chef on the Easter ham that I smoked yesterday from Fareway Meat and Grocery. I'm not kidding. People loved it.
I can't concentrate because I'm looking at you, and you look so different. It's just, I didn't realize that the dimple in your chin was that.
Yeah, I've got a butt.
It's
There's
not
an ass.
It's not quite as big of an ass face as Fails has. Yours is more of like, his is like a crack. Yours is
the entire comment
dimple.
section is just people talking about my appearance today.
And you knew this would happen too.
Yeah, well, and that's why last week I understand, like, I didn't even have that big of a beard, but people are like, oh, it's not that big of a... No, I'm way more self-conscious about shaving my face than I ever would be my head. Because I don't ever go without facial hair. Like, because I look like a penis.
A penis with an ass on the chin of it.
Matt says that I look like I was forced to shave before I walked into a jail cell. The woman who... Matt has photos of this and stuff. She's my friend. She lives in town. I love her. Her name's Bridget. And after she shaved my beard, she whispers into my ear. That's my daughter Elise doing it, and that's Bridget with her. And she goes, "You look like you belong on the sex offenders list."
Mr. 100 says that you look like you belong in American History X.
Oh my God! Right there, it looks like there was like a Hitler stash they had on me there for a while.
Derek Duke texted me this picture yesterday that you look like the lead singer of Disturbed.
Oh wow! Yeah,
Doesn't
it's
he?
about to get heavy.
You kind of do.
No, that's Shinedown.
Oh.
You need what? Does he
What is
have his
that?
chin pierced?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah,
I'm not doing
he's got
that.
a few piercings.
And I'm not doing
That'd
that.
be a good
Williams,
look
you
for you.
could-
Could cover up that little butt chin.
You could pierce the ass chin.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so regardless, happy Easter to those who celebrate.
So are you letting it grow out now?
This was.
I don't know. Yeah, probably. I'm not going to walk around like this. I can
Yeah,
promise
Andre
you that.
Agassi. Yeah, that's a good
I told
one.
my wife she could decide what my facial hair situation for the time being. I was like, I don't like this. I feel naked. I feel very self-conscious like this. But you know what? It's all good because we raised a ton of money, and that's what it's all about. It's not about my face. It's about our community has raised like $1.3 million in 18 years to fight our tiny little town. How cool is that? Isn't that amazing?
That's great. Yeah, it's for a great cause. It's just too bad Van Winks wouldn't step in and take one for the team. But
but you know what though?
Wouldn't have been as good as Williams. He got up there and gave a great speech. You know, that wouldn't have been as effective of me doing
It's not about shaving your head. It's about the community support, and and Matt is always showing up at those things and promoting them and videography and all that stuff. And Matt's doing his part. So I will reject you making Van Winks feel like a piece of shit.
what do you mean? You're the one that put him on the spot on the show live a couple of weeks ago.
Well, on topic, we are in the Channel Seed Studios, and I know those boys have been out in the fields. 𝗀𝗏𝗋∗ has been sending me all these pro wrestling Instagram reels, so I know he's bored.
Well, the squirrels keep getting in the channel seeds too. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He sending us these videos, these squirrels running around this.
𝗀𝗏𝗋 is just like, we need to do
shed.
There needs to. I'm not kidding. If Netflix ever did like a American Farmer, like a documentary, they could do that guy, and it would be really freaking entertaining. So, anyways, out at our event on Saturday night, and I really didn't. It was actually very liberating. Matt was there. I didn't have my phone on me. I didn't carry it. I was just talking to people, hugging people. My phone was like in my wife's pocket or whatever. I didn't even have it. I get home. I hadn't looked at my phone in like 4 hours. Okay. And it's blowing up because of the stunt doubles that they got of us to go out to the fields with these poor rural Iowa children and the widow.
We did some good work via AI this weekend. That family that we're helping there with the ham, they look like they're straight out of like the Depression era.
Well, and we need to break down all of these images too. Well, that first of all, my hands are two different sizes in this photograph of you. Can you zoom in on that, Matt? Like my right hand is half the size of my left hand.
Your left hand is also caressing my right hand.
Yeah, thought so. So that's like the most standard image. Go to the next one, Matt. So it's interesting that
what is this? We're handing out money to these.
We're just handing out cash to these poor farm children.
Why are the farm children? They have shaved heads. Like that. Are they using the same fake AI kids for the farm scene as they do for the hospital scenes?
I don't know, but we do this thing for St. Baldrick's every year, and the young boy next to me looks like he's a cancer patient. Like it. And then Van Winkle pulled this up. We think that Trump is on the dollar bill that we're handing these kids. Yeah, a lot of people are in the comments saying. So we're just out in the fields handing out cash to these poor and this one's my favorite.
Oh yeah.
There's so much to unpack with this one. You're missing a limb.
Yeah, I had my left hand lopped off in a farming accident right before this picture was taken. I just have a stump.
And it's the hairiest stump.
Yeah, the tip of the stump. You're right, it's really hairy.
You're caressing this poor child's ear with your stump.
I have the arm of Patrick Star from SpongeBob.
So I discovered this because I was like, the widow is so pissed that you are that close to, like, she doesn't look like she's happy for us to be bringing her this ham at all.
No, she's not happy. The kids aren't happy. Oh, I think they're pissed because we're presenting them like this ham out in the fields, like we're not even in their kitchen. And I'm caressing the kid's ear with my hairy stump.
You're putting your stump in his earlobe. You're penetrating his earlobe with your stump.
This whole AI thing is out of control.
Matt, can we give credit to the person who created these two, by the way, yeah, you're right. So I'm not going to name names. Somebody I know, an acquaintance, had a parent who thought these pictures were real, like with doubles of ours. They didn't think it was you and me, but they're like, how did they find guys to look like Chris and Chris to go out to this field and give these people this ham? I'm not kidding.
It was James Rich on X that created these.
Thanks, James.
These pictures of us. You're saying someone thought that we found stunt doubles to try to do like PR work for us?
I don't know if they thought we set it up but this person was like, how'd they find two people that looked like Chris and Chris to go out and do this? They thought we did it as a joke. Like, so they thought the images were real. Funny part about that, I didn't realize you had a stump until like I had looked at that, because I was laughing at the woman's face the whole time. I'm like, she is just pissed that we are out on her farm with this photo op. It's your strong hand.
People are asking where Caitlin was during all this. I may have uncovered something too, Williams, when you shared that video of the UFO.
Oh yeah,
that Caitlin is forming alliances with the aliens now. So
that was really it was a quiet weekend in sports. My entire weekend was talking to people about these AI images, because Keith and Andy did a hilarious bit on Friday's show, and like we've really I'm really proud of the Iowa Everywhere team. We've drawn awareness to this sickness in our society.
Well, then Keith, they ran a poll on Murph and Andy Friday. Have you ever fallen for like a fake AI? Nori, come on now. A fake AI picture or story. And later on in the show, Keith falls for an AI, he falls for some kind of fake picture of that space team, the Katy Perry.
Yeah.
We're like, it's scary because my mind goes to trying to either convict people of a crime or the other way. Try, like, if you get falsely accused. Like, are we going to reach a point where we don't even believe a real video? Like, if there's a real video of someone murdering someone else, I think we've already reached the point where some of the jury isn't even going to believe what they're watching.
It's a great point.
This AI has progressed so fast.
And we have fun with it, but I know like really smart people who you can just, especially when you're on your phone, you just glance at these things, and if you're not like trained to look for discrepancies and stuff, like, you wouldn't know. I got served one of these yesterday with these space gals that Angel Reese was going to space. These AI things are obsessed with the WNBA.
Well, they know that it drives conversation. If you can involve Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and now Paige Beckers,
oh yeah,
it's going to drive engagement and conversation, and that's what they want.
I found the latest Facebook Caitlin story, by the way. Did you know that she's getting a Netflix documentary? Look at this picture I found.
She looks like Rory McIlroy. They gave her Rory McIlroy's nose.
I've been waiting for that.
Wait, who's in that picture that in the red suit?
Is that
maybe
Caitlin?
A Netflix CEO announcing the documentary? I don't know.
It's not Caitlin. Real. Jesus.
Okay. Well, thank you for everybody for having fun with that on Friday and throughout the weekend. That gave me a good laugh. I had a few beers on Saturday night at the event, and when I got home, I'm not kidding. I was looking at those images and I was crying. I was laughing so hard at all the people's comments from those things. So thank you. That was a good time. We did have a big recruiting weekend in the state across the board. Iowa just got late last night.
Oh yeah, this is huge.
Last night, Iowa gets a transfer. Now I am going to butcher his name.
I've got the pronunciation.
Alvaro is the first name.
Yep.
Folgueiras.
Folgueiras.
Alvaro Folgueiras.
Alvaro Folgueiras. I've got the Robert Morris name pronunciation chart up right in front of me.
Horizon League Player of the Year last year, 6'9", 41% 3-point shooter, averaged like 14 and 9. I think off the top of my head. Nice, really nice pickup here for Ben McCollum. And now you can start to see like the bones of that team.
This is going to be a tournament team, brother. You're going to make the NCAA tournament.
But like you're starting to see like the skeleton of what it's going to look like. You've got your point guard, you've got your shooter, and now you've got a stretch four.
Yeah, they didn't get that other point guard that they were hoping to get, a top 50 player, Nick Lewis, who went to VCU. And I think they were able to, maybe one of the reasons they were able to pivot and get Folgueiras. But this is a big get.
Mm-hmm.
They needed
and he's got 2 years.
Specific kind of player. Yeah, it's so important these days.
That's huge.
But I don't know if you remember, Robert Morris was a 15 seed. They played Alabama in the first round of the tournament. And this was a game. Like Robert Morris was leading with 7 minutes to go. They ended up losing 90-81. Folgueiras had 15 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and a block. And was really good in this game, a game where they competed with one of the better teams in the country. I love the get. I mean, you keep filling out this roster. You know, it's been slow, the build, but steady. They've missed on a couple of guys that, you think they're. I thought they'd get Nick Lewis, but VCU was going to offer him more money. VCU has more money than Iowa. I've
better
been
facilities.
told, David Eicholt has reported that, he might have been asking for a little bit too much from Iowa, and VCU was going to give it to him, and Iowa said, okay. Like Iowa didn't try to match that, and they were okay with it. And this is probably more important than getting a point guard. Look, Bennett Stertz plays 40 minutes a game, or at least he did last season. Do you really need a backup point guard this season? Now, it'd be great to have one. It'd be great to have one, and you could even, fit him in. Maybe they can be on the court at the same time. But for this year, I don't know that you really do, if this guy is going to be able to play the entire game. I mean, Big Ten is going to be different, but the fact that this guy plays the whole game, he doesn't get in foul trouble. I think that this Robert Morris kid and the position he plays, because he's more of a big, that is a much bigger get for Iowa for this upcoming season. He's 6'9", 215.
What's next on the chopping block? Like, what do you want to see this team add in the next couple of weeks?
Well, I still think, you got to get another point guard. Ideally, you get a point guard that can come in and learn from Stertz. Like, wouldn't that be something that would be great down the road? Is to have somebody that can learn from one of the best point guards in the country, and then be ready to hit the ground running when Stertz goes to the NBA and is a potential lottery pick. I would rather have that than maybe get some guy in here after this season, next season, that doesn't sit behind Bennett Stertz and learn from him. The problem is, and I think this was the case with Lewis, according to David Eicholt and some others, he didn't want to sit behind a guy for a full year. Like he wants to go in and be the guy right away.
Which I don't blame him at all.
Sure,
that's
yeah,
college
you're a
basketball
top 50
now.
guy, and he's going to be able to do that at VCU. He's going to be able to go in and be the guy, the point guard. And so you need to find someone that is willing to do that.
I really want to see them add some bulk, like just general toughness. An enforcer down
Absolutely.
low. It doesn't need to be a, double figure score or whatever, but they need some brute strength down
Agreed.
there.
It's the Big Ten. Yeah, you're going to need more of that.
And that's the thing. It's like most of these Drake guys, and like you put them in a good system and you move them up, but the one thing you can't fake is the one thing you can't mask with like scheme and coaching and stuff is just that physicality. You just can't mask it.
Mm-hmm.
They got to get some dudes, and I know they know this, but that's where the level. It's like I've explained this before, from like D2 to Drake. There's a difference. Don't get me wrong. Like it is a step up, but physicality wise, it's not that big of a step up. But when you go from 30 games in the Big Ten or from the Valley to 30 games in the Big Ten, it's just different. You've got to have that bulk. So let's see what they do. They know this. They're not stupid.
Again, I'm putting all my trust in Coach Ben. Like
you are just
whatever he does. Like I was hoping they would get Nick Lewis, but I'm all in no matter what happens here, and I think that he's going to be able to put together a tournament team this first year, and I think they're going to be in the Sweet 16 in the next 3 years.
Christian Wiggins is a top 50 recruit in the class of 2026, and he committed to Iowa State over the weekend, picked Iowa State over. He did have an original offer from Iowa. Fran was in on him. I don't know if that – I'm assuming that McCollum would have taken him, but I don't think they were actively recruiting him. Big win over Creighton. It really is the notable one here. Greg McDermott was recruiting Christian Wiggins. No relation to Andrew Wiggins. I keep getting asked that.
Yeah, that was the first question I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Is this from the Wiggins family?
It is not. It's the same area of Minnesota and all that stuff, but no relation there. Really nice player. Iowa State's been recruiting him for like a year and a half. Like this is a Kyle Green connection, and the high school recruiting thing just doesn't get the buzz that it used to. They're going to have a top 10 class in 2026 to follow up what they did in 2025. So you're looking at a couple of high school classes in a row now for Otzelberger when you look at the group that just came in for next year and then the year after that where they'll be top 10 classes. So the high school thing is just different than it used to be. But
this means nothing to me, really.
I'm going to explain to you why
from
you
an
should
Iowa State standpoint, because
I'll
none of
explain
these
to you why you
guys
should consider it. Go for it.
I mean, when's the last time? I'm trying to think. 𝗙𝗪𝗏, I guess, played and was good as a freshman. Did 𝗙𝗪𝗏 play? I mean, we're talking 3 years ago.
Yeah, 𝗙𝗪𝗏 played.
Most of these guys, because they're bringing in these great recruits. These top 50 recruits. They come in, and sometimes we never see them hit the floor.
So
and then they leave.
I think like last year's deal with like 𝗺će specifically, I think any other year he would have played. But you come in and you've got all these 22-year-olds.
I'm not saying this is a problem for Iowa State.
I know.
I'm just saying the way that they are constructing their teams now, I don't know that these freshmen that come in with all these accolades will ever hit the floor, because they might not be able to go year one.
Mm-hmm.
And then
they may transfer. The thing I would point out, which is going to be really interesting in college basketball, and I talked about this in my interview with Eric Henderson last week, is all these COVID guys are done now.
Yeah.
So you're losing 25% of the workforce. So all the 24-year-old dudes or whatever are gone. So the high school freshman is going to have more opportunity than he has in the last 4 years. What does that mean?
Point.
I don't know.
That's a good point.
But it's really hard to be 18 competing against a 23.
I know it is. The way Iowa State's rosters have been put together recently, which is not a bad thing. I'm just saying I don't get as excited when Iowa State gets a top 50 kid than I would, if Iowa got a top 50 kid.
the way I look at it is, man, if you could hit on like half of them, because they always say too, it's cheaper to keep guys than it is to go out and buy them.
Oh yeah, sure.
So that's it's like they have 2 guards next year. One of the freshman guards will play, Torrey or Bateman. One of them will play. And it's like if you hit on one of them, if you hit on 2 of them, great. Like that'd be awesome. I don't anticipate it because it's like just the way it's set up, there's only so much playing time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's harder and harder to convince guys to stay. But if you can hit on one of them and then he's your next Curtis Jones or, like however you want to go. So that's the way I look at this. It's like you're spreading out your chips on the roulette board.
Sure.
And they're just cheaper. Like there's a salary cap thing here. You can't just field like St. John's and Rick Pitino can do it because they don't have football. They have $20 million to go and spend on their basketball roster, and they can take all transfers. Iowa and Iowa State cannot do that. You have to be bringing in freshmen who are at the bottom of your salary cap, and then they ascend, and by year 3, maybe they're your leading, whoever makes the most money.
Sure.
So it's just really interesting how this is all just evolving in front of us.
Another reason why VCU has a lot of money to spend on men's basketball. They don't have football. They don't spend. They can spend.
And that's another reason why
basketball.
If I'm Wiggins, I don't know about his situation with Creighton, but it's like that team is all transfers. So like he would be going in there.
They spent a lot of money.
It's going to be harder for him to see the court at a Creighton than it would be in Iowa State because Iowa State hits transfers hard, but they're not getting the same level. They're not getting Power 5 to Power 5 transfers very often. They're getting the guy from, St. Bonaventure or whatever. So it really interesting. I was excited about him though. I think he's a nice player. I like him a lot. Christian Wiggins. We'll move on to football here. Do want to thank our friends over at Freedom Tire for helping us here on Chris and Chris.
Freedom. I felt like I needed to bring that back.
Yeah.
Because Pope Francis died today at the age of 88.
His soul.
It's a beautiful
I don't know
tribute.
if you saw, Chris, because you came in a little later than I did. And before the show even started, we had 2 requests for you to sing that in honor of the Pope today.
I'm glad I could memorialize him. What a performance, by the way. He came out, did Easter Mass yesterday without oxygen.
Yeah, I'm not
in
aware
his
of
last
all this.
day. Yeah, it's crazy.
Really? He was bebopping all over the stage and talking about the resurrection and all that stuff?
One last Mass, and it was Easter, and it was,
Wow.
Yeah, shout out to him.
That's inspiring.
That's gangster.
Freedom Tire has locations all over the Des Moines Metro. They also have one up in Ames. Don't just go there for tires. Go there for complete service of your vehicle. Be like Van Winks. Also want to thank our friends at Game Day Men's Health for presenting everything we do here on Iowa Everywhere. Downs is on the tee. I'm on the tee.
Didn't you say
on the tee.
a few months ago
on the tee.
you think that your beard was coming in fuller and faster because of all the tea you're on?
I don't know about faster, but I think it was definitely fuller. I truly do.
Now, how long do you think it'll take before you get something going again here?
A couple days.
Well, it's already been a couple days since you...
I know, but I had to clean shave it on Saturday night when I got back because when they do the thing at the... It's not like a professional shave job you're getting at St. Baldrick's, okay?
Professional shave job.
It's a bunch of drunk people getting together partying. All right? Like, we're not... Like, look, in my ass chin right there.
Yeah,
like,
they couldn't get inside there.
Yeah, they didn't even get inside.
They needed
the
to
crevice.
spread your
I
chin
literally had a
cheeks apart.
5-year-old doing it. Okay. And she thought it was the coolest thing ever. She was telling people at church yesterday, I shaved my dad's beard. Yeah, no, I don't know that. And there's dozens of our viewers who are on the tee now at game day, and my facial hair has been thicker, I believe. But
are you growing hair elsewhere on your body that you weren't before now that you're on the tee?
Oh, yeah, you should see how hairy my ass is now. I do think, my chest hair may be a little bit. I don't know.
Is the tip of your stump extra hairy?
That poor boy. You're violating that poor AI child with your stump.
Tickling his ear with my stump.
Hey, boy, you want some ham?
Are we going to get into Van Winks was all upset about
we're going to talk
Rhule
football
last night.
So Iowa State lands a big football commitment. 4-star quarterback out of Millard South in Omaha.
Omaha, Nebraska.
So you got to know the history here. This Matt Rhule and Matt Campbell. Remember that deal where there was like the fight?
Slap at the jack?
Yeah, and it was it Macaulay or was it Sam that put together the sound off bit?
Yeah, it was good. I don't know which one it was, but it was
fun. One of those guys. It was fantastic. And there's that iconic photo after the game where Campbell and Rhule are shaking hands, but Campbell's like looking away, won't look him in the eye.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt Rhule, listen, he's just a guy who oftentimes just talks too much. It's just who he's always been like this. This is not he's at Nebraska, we're going to make fun of Nebraska thing here. He always just gets kind of defensive and probably it's just who he is. Well, Iowa State now has 6 commits in its 2026 class that are from the state of Nebraska. Full disclosure, I don't believe Nebraska offered like all of these guys. This is not like straight up recruiting wins but one of these reporters over there's that photo. Great job, Matt. One of these reporters for the Omaha World-Herald asked Rhule about Iowa State coming in and taking all of these Nebraska players.
I don't think he asked specifically about Iowa State.
He did, or you don't?
I don't think
No,
he did.
it was just
I'll let Matt say
it was a general in-state recruiting question.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, he was basically asking about bringing local guys into camp and how he kind of handles in-state recruits.
Let's
want to
see
hear
what
the clip?
Let's see what Matt Rhule had to say.
I don't think there's anything wrong at the University of Nebraska that we carry ourselves like the top 20 teams in the program in the country. And the top 20 teams in the country, if they say, hey, we like you a lot, but we want you to come to camp, you'll come to camp, going into your senior year. So there's lots of kids. I would love to recruit them. They've committed to a Big 12 school or somewhere else like that. Come to camp. If you want to play in the Big 12 over the Big 10, I got it. But make no mistake, there is a big difference. And Big 12 is going to go nuts now. I know that. And I'm going to be on X and all that stuff, but it's the reality. The Big 10 and the SEC, especially moving forward, are going to be here in terms of everybody else. So I have to worry about what's Ohio State doing, what's Michigan doing. So I love the state, I love the players, and we're gonna take a bunch. So we're taking some as walk-ons, we're taking some as scholarship players. I just have to be sure that they're good enough. And I don't think asking guys to come to camp is the whole thing like, hey, you should be the first offer at Nebraska. Desperate teams always set the market. Let me say that one more time. And rev share and all this, desperate teams set the market.
So there's a lot there. Part of me, it's like I see what he's doing, and I don't even disagree with it. The part where I would be concerned is Nebraska. Man, you haven't even taken the step to be Iowa or Wisconsin, and it's like this immediate comp. Like we need to be Ohio State and Michigan, and like forget about the Iowa State angle. I don't even care. Bloom and I talked about that a lot on our show last night on Cyclone Fanatic. Like I'm looking at this from a big picture Nebraska thing. And I feel like Rhule, because I liked the Rhule hire a lot for them because it felt like there was real substance there. Like a guy who has built a program, takes over Baylor after the Art Briles thing, builds it back up. He won at Temple, which is almost impossible to do. Right. It felt like there was substance there after the Scott Frost era where that felt like all flash to me that lacked any substance whatsoever. My fear here for them is that he's getting sucked back into this Nebraska fan thing of like, we just have to be where we were in the 90s, where they're nowhere close to it. They are nowhere close to that. And I would be a little bit alarmed by that. What do you think as an Iowa fan? When you
from a Nebraska angle, yeah, he probably went out there a little bit too far on the ledge, like saying that Nebraska is on the level of Ohio State. Now,
because you're not a top 20 team.
No,
like that's the thing.
You're right.
You may want to be.
You do need to worry about the Iowas and Wisconsins and even Minnesotas of the world more than Ohio State and Michigan, because you gotta get to those teams' levels before you can worry about the best of the best. But what he's saying is not wrong. I mean, there is a big difference between the Big Ten and the Big 12. There just is. And the gap is probably going to widen. And I don't like it, even as a Big Ten fan. I think it's bullshit. But that's the way this thing has been constructed. That's what's moving forward. The Big Ten is going to get a lot more money. They're going to have a lot more money to pay the players. And they're going to get a lot more spots in the college football playoff than the Big 12. And the Big 12 just doesn't have brands anymore. There isn't, like, the biggest brand is Colorado because of Coach Prime.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what he's saying is that he didn't mention Iowa State, but a team like Iowa State can go in and offer this kid as a freshman or sophomore and have much more of a relationship with him where they're trying to aim bigger. And they want these in-state kids to go to this camp so that they can watch them. I guess everybody's invited to this Nebraska camp, and if you go in, you start building a relationship, then you might get an offer, but you're going to get offers from Big 12, maybe ACC schools before you might get an offer from Nebraska, even though you're in state, because Nebraska feels like they can be more choosy. Unless you're a 5-star guy. And I think the message is a little bit, I think it should be lost on Nebraska fans, because this is a message that, unfortunately for them, they keep falling into this hole time and time again. But I guess what I was interested in is, like, the Iowa State angle, why, like, what pissed Iowa State off about this recruitment? Like, why is Iowa State so upset about what he said?
I just think that I honestly think it's the Rhule thing. Like, there's a lot of history there. Like,
just personal?
I don't know. I truly don't know. I'm analyzing this more from a Nebraska standpoint. Like, and this is, I think it's really smart what Iowa State's doing. Like, they need to focus on high school prospects because they're never going to be able to win, like, big in the portal in football specifically. That's just the way. Now, this thing could develop.
They've got a lot of money, though. I mean, you think of all the money that Nebraska has now to.
No, I'm talking about Iowa State.
Okay.
I'm saying Iowa State football. I think this is really smart to just, they should be focusing
absolutely.
on developing high school players.
Yeah.
And if you lose some, fine. But, like, it again, like, I think the perfect one, the perfect example is, like, Dominic Orange, right? Like, that guy could have gone off and made millions upon millions in the portal this offseason, but he stays at Iowa State. And I'm sure he's being compensated at Iowa State. Like, there's not burying my head in the sand, but because you've developed him, right? Like, so they've got to develop and do things a little differently. And that's the one advantage you have as a Big 12 program over the Big 10 right now, is you can go in and offer these kids early, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can do that. And but the problem is that Rhule just sounds condescending when he says that, and I think he kind of realizes that when you watch it. It comes off as condescending, even though what he's saying, this is Matt's problem. It's always been his problem. He talks faster than, right? This has always been his deal. But my issue, though, is, like, this guy really still, like, he's built these programs. I give him credit for what he did at Baylor. That was a really hard situation if you think back to that after the Bryles thing. He's built these, but he really hasn't done much. Flopped in the NFL. He hasn't beaten a ranked team since he was at Temple. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it really is just like, it comes off to me. If I were a Nebraska fan, I would say if you have, there's not great high school football in Nebraska, but if you have 10 D1 prospects that are like legit Power 4 guys, if you count the Big 12 as a Power 4, it doesn't sound like Matt Rhule does. Like, I would take 3 or 4 of them every year, no matter what, to be like your nucleus. Like, to me, like, that is important. But he's not looking at it that way. Clearly,
no, he's not.
He's like, we need to go off, and we are recruiting against Ohio State and Michigan and Alabama. That's how they want to do this. Shoot for the stars, buddy. Like, you have all the resources, you have a fan base, you have all that stuff. I've seen other coaches at Nebraska fall into this trap where you get so much pressure from this delusional fan base that constantly is longing for the 90s, and you ain't there, buddy. You went 6-6 last year or whatever they were. Like, you gotta this is a gradual build here. You're not Dion. Like, it's not like what he did where, because at that level you can go in and you can just flip it. You can't do that in the Big Ten. And I don't know. They could be good this year. I have no idea. Again, I thought at the time I thought Rhule would do well there. Still do. This is just like a little bit of like I don't know, man. You ain't there yet, brother.
He referenced some, like, the other coaches in a different part of that answer, because I listened to some of it as well. And I think in his mind, he feels like he is going in a different direction than the other coaches. He said that some of the other coaches would take these to try to keep this a Nebraska thing. Well, this isn't about that. He said this is about winning. And if I bring in a bunch of Nebraska kids, yeah, that's great. But if you don't win, you're out. I'll be out just like all the other coaches were. So I believe he feels like he's going in a different direction and not falling into that trap as some of the other coaches have.
Well, it'll be interesting to watch, and they have every resource there to win. And
they do
really have no excuses, especially in this era. They're not going to be outbid. They've got a passionate fan base. They've got an amazing stadium. They've got all these things. Let's do our news segment. We got a news segment on the show. I want to welcome a new sponsor. They're not new to Iowa Everywhere, but they are new to two guys, and it's our friends over at Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax. I went to their ribbon cutting a couple weeks ago, which was nice to meet that entire team over there. So this is going to be every show. We are going to do, we're calling it Going Long. They're not stock pickers over there. Because I was like, oh, let's do I'm buying stock. And they're like, no, we're not stock pickers, but they're planning for your retirement, all that stuff. So we're going long. We're each just going to give a shout out to somebody in a show going forward. And I am going to do, it's the NFL draft. So Darian Porter, I just wanted to mention him because 6 years at Iowa State, barely started at all. And the feel around it is that he's probably going to be a third-round draft pick in the draft coming up this week, which is really Iowa kid, grew up on the eastern side of the state, just a really nice young man. And he's starting to read these draft things, like a lot of the rumors out there is that he's one of the best corners in the draft. The one I wanted to point out today, though, is Jaylin Noel. Now, I know Matt had him in our Triple B when the combine hit. Shockingly, he might get drafted, Hassel, above Jaden Higgins this weekend. He may have jumped Higgins, which is like they're probably both second-round picks right now, from what I'm hearing inside the program is kind of what they think. And Higgins hasn't dropped. That's the thing. Higgins' stock has just kind of stayed steady. Noel has gone from making himself like a fifth-round pick to a second-round pick in the offseason, which is just incredible. So I'm going along with Jaylin Noel because I think that this guy all of a sudden is starting to look like a 10-year NFL because he's versatile. He can be your kick returner. He can be a gunner. He can do all those things. I just never thought a year ago we would be in a situation where 𝗏 might be drafted ahead of Higgins.
I've always thought he was underrated.
Yeah.
He's probably the most impressive Iowa State wide receiver that I've seen. I mean, Allen Lazard was up there. It was just a little bit different with him. Like, he came in as this, this kind of like a program savior, but 𝗏 was just consistent every year, every game, every week. And I just love the way his game can translate to the NFL. Now, I will say this. I've heard more from our draft guys about Higgins than 𝗏.
Okay.
And one of our guys, Mike Renner, who's been covering the draft for a long time, he used to work with Pro Football Focus. He works with us now. He would take Higgins in the first round.
Wow.
He has
That's
Higgins
great.
as, I think, his third or fourth best wide receiver. Sounds like there's going to be 3 to 4 wide receivers taken in the first round. And there's not like a lot of high-end talent like we may have seen last year with the Marvin Harrison Jr.'s of the world. But there's a lot of this just spread out talent from maybe late first to the third round of wide receivers.
Yeah, Pro Football Focus's latest mock draft had Higgins at 38, Darian Porter at 64 to the Eagles, and then 𝗏 at 67 to the Browns. So both, all three guys right there.
Yeah, you
in
never
the
really
second round.
know how this is going to play out, and then like if there's a run on the position or whatever. But that's good stuff.
The last time Iowa State had an offensive player taken in the first round was, going back to, was it Amundsen back in 72 or 73 or whatever, running back. They've never had a wide receiver taken in the first round of the draft. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I think Higgins is
I don't think it will.
Plus 700 to go first round. But, man, what great wide receiver talent they had. And it's a reminder of what they're going to have to replace next year and moving forward at that position. Jeez.
Really good stuff from those guys, no doubt. Let's do our Triple B, Kelderman Manufacturing. Fire it up, baby.
Bigger, better, bolder. Built by Kelderman Manufacturing. Bigger, better, bolder.
I'm trying to play
Built
it, but
by
it won't play.
Kelderman Manufacturing.
Better, bolder.
I'll let you start, Chris. You got a unique one for us today.
Is it time to start paying attention to Iowa baseball? I know you Cyclone fans don't pay attention to college baseball at all.
I hate college baseball. It's a terrible sport.
A program to follow.
It's a horrible sport.
You love baseball.
Not college
baseball. You talk
baseball.
about your stupid Braves all the time.
I don't watch college baseball. Nobody watches college baseball.
Those Iowa Hawkeyes are 27
You guys don't actually
and 11
care.
overall. They're 17-4 in conference. Williams, they are right now, they have a multiple game lead in the Big Ten.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for them.
They might
How many
win
games
the Big
have you
Ten
watched?
regular season.
How many games have you watched this year?
You know the last time they won the Big Ten regular season? 1990. Haven't been to the College World Series since 1972. I'm not saying this team is going to do that, but wow. I mean, to put themselves in position to win the Big Ten regular season, that's something else.
So I bet you were just really locked in.
Oh, yeah, I watched start to finish
All
the whole
weekend
series at Michigan. They swept the Wolverines.
Who's your cleanup hitter this year?
I don't know. Well, there is this guy
kidding.
named the Iowa Meat Truck.
It is. It's a really difficult sport to follow until they get to Omaha.
Well, you mean from a national perspective?
Well, yeah, just in general, like you have to really be locked into these things to pay too much attention to them. these teams. It's huge in the SEC, right? Down where you're from.
Yes.
They really love it down there. I have friends who have these 247 sites, and they have like baseball beat writers down there.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've worked with guys that I worked with a guy at ESPN. His name's Cole Wright. He does Cubs stuff now, but he loved LSU baseball more than anything. It's different up north, but
yeah,
let's give them their due, baby. They're
good story. Absolutely,
they're best team in the Big Ten right now.
What? When was the last? We've covered this before. When was the last time Iowa got to Omaha?
1972.
72.
It's the only time.
70. Okay.
Their only College
72.
World Series appearance.
I remember when Nebraska got there the first time in like modern era, and how big of a deal that was. I was working at Western Iowa at the time, and everybody just went freaking crazy.
Well, get ready to learn college baseball again, because here come the Hawks.
I've already kind of covered this, but I did just the community and just everybody who participated in our fundraiser for St. Baldrick's over the weekend. Even if you weren't there, a lot of people from our show donated money for it, and it's always a great reminder to me, like what actually matters when we get so passionate about sports. And while sports are great and they bring us all together, like it's the community stuff that means the most. So thank you to everybody for being a part of that. That's what I wanted to highlight today. Maddie, what do you have, brother?
You guys got me? Sorry, I froze up there.
Yeah, you're good.
This came out on Friday, but saw the news that Rocco Beck donated a bunch of Xbox systems to the pediatric floor at Mary Greeley using his NIL
Did you get duped?
funds.
This got to be AI, right?
Wearing the team sweatshirt.
Chris, I thought it was AI too when I saw it.
Really?
I saw the We Will Collective like retweeted or whatever, and I was like, oh no, Bloom got duped.
Bloom probably had something to do with this.
No,
so
but good on Rocco, because
it's
such a neat deal that it seems like something AI would make up.
Mm-hmm.
We've just seen him use his NIL earnings in such cool ways over the last couple of years. So wanted to give him a shout out, and just very cool. And this got some national attention too, which it deserves. And just a good kid, good guy. So
he is. Kelderman Manufacturing, shout out to them for bringing us bigger, better, bolder. You pointed this out to me. So it's the day after WrestleMania, and you said the day after WrestleMania might become a national holiday going forward.
WrestleMania. I listened to that podcast, by the way. You guys sounded like the biggest nerds ever talking about.
Who, me and Freud?
Yes. Oh my God. I had secondhand embarrassment the whole time I was listening to it.
What is your problem? Why can't you just let people enjoy things?
It reminded me of like 𝗀cie𝗰𝗶𝗹 talking about playing Dungeons and Dragons and like board games and stuff. I'm glad these things make you happy. I'm sorry. It's just
real quick shout out to the Iowa Event Center. SmackDown coming Friday, May 2nd. Tickets 𝗙𝗵𝗋𝗃𝗃s.com.
Well done, Matt. Well
yeah,
done.
So I guess there's some kind of bill that might make the day after Easter a national holiday. What do you think about that? Monday, Easter Monday.
I don't care. Like I'm for more national holidays. Like for people getting days off, I guess. Like why do we need this?
For the people that maybe travel on Easter.
Oh, yeah. A lot of that.
You want to go
on.
see family on Easter? Do we need another national? I feel like they keep adding up. I swear there are more national holidays now than there were when I was a kid. I feel like these government workers get way too much time off. Don't you?
Well, that was kind of what I don't know if they get too much time off. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that, but I just like, do we need it? Like that's what. So my kid does have her today off.
Why?
But I think it's Bondurant's like spring break. You get like this. They just
it's
put
a
it
teacher
here.
Service day.
Oh, is that what it is today?
Teachers are doing their educational day.
Okay, I had no idea. So like, yeah, I got kids home. Today.
Jeez, that's.
But it was. I thought it was just like a day off in the spring. I didn't think it had nothing to do with Easter.
What do you mean?
They didn't. She doesn't have today off because yesterday was Easter.
Oh, right. I don't know.
You know what's interesting to me is how, like, in our country, like, we'll debate this, but if you live in, like, Europe, you're just given, like, take a month off.
Yeah,
I'm trying to work with some people.
They do their little holiday thing, but usually that's in the summertime.
I've been trying to get a hold of a couple of these people of the football game in Ireland for some stuff for 𝗙cie 𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗃. I can't get a hold of anyone because they're on their like annual leave.
For
this.
Yeah.
And then we're just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to make a point here because I don't have a point to make. It's just fascinating how in different areas of the world we view it differently.
Well, now we're giving guys like, I swear there's guys I work with, they'll take like 4 months off after they have a kid.
I'll tell you this. I think, don't even start. I was writing about recruits while my wife was in labor with Cameron. Like, she was literally pushing and I was writing about. I'll never forget interviewing Royce White on Sanibel Island during our honeymoon.
Really?
God, she's a saint putting up with all that shit over the years. It doesn't stop. Like, that's the thing, like, in our world.
There's certain jobs that,
like, you don't, I haven't had a day off in 20 years. Like, so then, like, a guy like me, it's like, yeah, do they really need President's Day off? I think it makes more sense to have the day after Easter off than President's Day.
President's Day. What else is there? MLK Day.
MLK Day has more significance than President's Day.
I totally agree. President's
Memorial
Day,
Day is a
that's
great
ridiculous.
day.
Yeah.
I love Memorial Day. Got to have that.
The summer holidays are great. The Memorial Day and Independence Day, those are two of the best holidays of the year. Labor Day, I could take it or leave it. I'm not a big Labor Day guy.
Like, you can't just say one day, hey, chill.
Is that what they say? Is that what Labor Day is all about?
I don't know exactly what it is, but it seems like a bit of a farce to me. The day after Easter would be a more productive national holiday than President's Day for people. I'm saying for the people, because there are people. You go to your church on Easter. There's all these.
Christmas Eve. That should be a holiday.
Yeah,
let's leave all these other things and pick it up with Christmas Eve. How about we usually is the day after Thanksgiving? Is that now a holiday?
No,
I mean, everybody takes it.
That's not.
Black Friday is not a holiday.
It's not a holiday. No. I mean, most people like build it in and stuff, but it is not a federal holiday. Woohoo! The hell is that? Woohoo! We're going to bring in a guest real quick to promote something really cool that's coming up, and we want to help them get as many people entered into this contest as possible. And his name is Matt Strong from the Iowa Lottery. Matt, are you there? Can you hear us? You got us?
I am. Good morning, fellas. Yeah, greetings from the Quad Cities, actually.
Oh,
Quad Cities?
Yeah, getting it done over here on the eastern part of the state to start the day.
Very cool. Well, thanks for joining us, and thanks for we're going to tell our fans and our listeners and viewers and all the people watching about what you guys are doing with the Indiana Fever game coming up at Carver Hawkeye Arena. We want to get as many people entered into your contest as possible in the next few days. So the Fever are playing this preseason game in Carver Hawkeye Arena on May 4th. And this thing was crazy. It's sold out in like no time at all. And then the secondary market just went crazy because people are obsessed with Caitlin Clark and the Fever. And rightfully so. This is a really cool event. But the Iowa Lottery is wanting to help get some fans to this game. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it, sir?
Yeah, no, thanks, Chris. just like all Iowans, right? We want to try and go to the big Iowa experiences. And as I tell my team, never forget the Iowa part of the Iowa lottery. And I don't think there's a bigger Iowa event or experience than this game on May 4th. And we've been a longtime partner and sponsor of the women's basketball team. So we've got season tickets that we've traditionally given away. So like other season ticket holders, we had an opportunity at least to try and grab a couple tickets to this game when they went on sale. And we're fortunate to have 4. And the more we talked about it, we didn't want to tie it to a sale. We didn't want to tie it to an existing promotion. We want to do something completely different. We just want to give them away free, not tied to any purchase. We want to make it available to just Iowans. Of course, we are the lottery, so you have to be at least 21 or over. So we decided to launch the Greatness Returns Contest to give all Iowans that are eligible to play the lottery one shot and one shot only to grab a pair of tickets. We are the lottery, so we're going to throw in some cash as well with the prize, a couple $100 in spending cash. And it really is that simple. We want to give Iowans who didn't have a chance because there was no public sale a chance to get into Carver that day, because it's going to be truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I know that phrase is overused, but this one is.
Yeah, we might not get to see Caitlin Clark play in Iowa again. I mean, who knows? I mean, this is the only thing we have on the books, and this is the very first WNBA preseason game that will ever be televised. I mean, they're moving it around to get it in a good window to watch because so many people want to be a part of it. Matt, I think that's the cool thing about it is a lot of people that wanted a chance at these never got that.
Yeah, Chris, and that's why we had this conversation internally and decided what is the easiest way for us to try and give as many Iowans as possible a chance to get into Carver that day. So, we decided we've got our VIP club. We need to know who you are for legal purposes because we are the lottery. So we need to know that you're 21 and we need to know that you're an Iowan. So for your viewers and listeners that are VIP club members, they should already have an email from us. We made it so there's just a one-click button entry into the contest, and you only get one shot. But for anybody that isn't already a VIP club member, great news. The window is still open. Go on ialottery.com, pop on the App Store, download the Iowa Lottery mobile app, enter the VIP club, and then we'll send you an email that will have that one-click mechanism to enter. Got to get on it, though. 11:59 p.m. Thursday. And then we turn the list over, all the entries to our security team. We've got, the secret drawing equipment that will make that drawing on Friday. So anybody that gets in there, just start thinking about who you're going to take with you to Carver on May 4th.
What's this secret drawing equipment like? It's not just pulling it out of a hat or.
Yeah, we don't do we don't have the old ball machines anymore, any of that business. All right, so hold on. It's a computer. I know that sounds very,
he's using
very
AI.
exciting.
They're using AI to do it, like those pictures, William.
So so we got a big old database and a thumb drive that goes into a computer, but of course it has about 20 witnesses throughout the process. But it's not nearly as exciting as the big wheel on stage or anything like that, fellas.
Oh man, I remember that from when I was a kid. Those balls popping around and
right,
man, good stuff. Well, Matt, thank you so much for your time and doing this, and we're glad that we could help you guys promote it and hope we get a ton of people entering at ialottery.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you much, ialottery.com. Appreciate everything you guys do and getting the word out. It's a great Iowa experience.
All right, Matt, thank you so much. We appreciate your time today. That was a nice touch by Matt with the little Yahoo. Wahoo
yeah.
In the
Yahoo.
Background.
It's woohoo.
Wahoo
with a W. You idiot. Woohoo.
Well, we covered a lot of ground today.
We have, yeah.
Covered a lot of ground today. We got a lot of good stuff.
You know what we should do? Because I've been listening to the Williams and Bloom. I'd like those mailbag episodes.
We should totally do that.
We should do a mailbag episode. I mean, we're kind of in the off season now.
Let's
things die down a little bit
next week. Yeah, because the NFL draft is Thursday.
Yep.
And we'll have a lot of ground to cover there, and we'll probably do more. With I would love to know what you think of the Bears and that type of stuff. And McCollum's going to keep filling out that roster pretty quickly. I do think Iowa State is done portaling. I think that there may be a high school prospect or something like that to be sprinkled in. But I guess my point is, we are going to be chill here for the next few weeks after Thursday. Will you do the draft? You're not a huge draft guy, are you? Are you like a
I
sit
don't
around?
love the draft as much as a lot of people in my business do, or as like Fails loves the draft. I will watch the first round. That's it. I don't watch. I really don't watch on Friday and Saturday, the second and third and all the way through the seventh. I don't do that. But first round's always cool, and I like the prop bets that you can do, the over under.
I just like the little
draft
sound
positions.
Oh, your dad is in the comments. He's watching on Facebook. You need to give us an update on your wife. How much money did she spend at this furniture store in Daytona?
Not too bad. Just she bought some like couch pillows.
Oh, that's nice. She brought it in a U-Haul?
No, she didn't get the U-Haul because they didn't need it.
Oh, gotcha.
They didn't need it. They didn't need anything big, which was good. She said that when they got to Daytona, they were shaken to their core initially by what they saw. Pretty trashy. But
Daytona is trashy.
She said they came around. They came around to actually really liking Daytona. Went to
go to some
cool spots. They stayed on the beach, and she said that it is weird. Like people can drive their cars on the beach.
Yeah, it's where NASCAR started.
But they actually wanted to stay an extra day. They couldn't, but they wanted to. They liked it that much.
You want to go to the 500 next year?
Nope.
All right.
Did they find any good dive bars?
No dive bars. No.
Really?
No.
At Daytona?
They went to Buc-ee's. You ever been to a Buc-ee's?
That's like a dive gas station.
It's like people love that gas station. It's
you never heard of
way
Buc-ee's,
more than
Williams?
It's like a It's like a Walmart gas station. Like it's that the store is as big as a Walmart. It's huge, and they sell food in there. It's like it's kind of like a Costco almost. They've got good food. She brought me back some beef jerky.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, everybody, for paying attention. Couldn't do it without you. I would also like to ask you to subscribe to our YouTube page, if you don't mind. Quit watching when you're not subscribed. Please.
Yeah, we got a lot of people that aren't subscribed.
Just subscribe.
That watch regularly. It's YouTube is weird. Like you think you're subscribed sometimes and you're not. I thought I was subscribed to like the 𝗀cie𝗶𝗶𝗶 college football show, and then he did one of those pushes for subscribers, and I realized I wasn't.
Yeah, because if you watch a show, it'll pop up on your homepage the next time there's a new episode.
Yeah.
So, and you think, oh yeah, I'm subscribed. But yeah, it should be in that like right under where we are. If you're on your phone, it should just be a little subscribe button.
All right. Love you guys. We will be back on Thursday. Remember, Overthinking Murph and Andy today at 12 and 1 here on Iowa Everywhere.